Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Now, all of y'all know that have been listening to my podcast for over the last year know that I used to be in rotation. I used to be a member, you know what I'm saying, of Gangster Disciples. Y'all know that, right? Until I retired, you know what I'm saying, from the business. Um, I wanted to say, the lifestyle, it's not for the faint-hearted. It's just not, you know what I mean? And the other day I was talking to this young guy. He's one of the guys, you know what I'm saying? And he was asking me, how did I make it that long as a member, right? Because he's having a few problems right now, you know what I'm saying? And, I think he's getting ready to get put in the rack. And this is his first time being put in the rack. And, he's scared. It's as simple as that. He's scared, right? But he likes it. I don't think he likes the beating. He ain't had it yet. He don't know what that's gonna be like, right? But he likes being a member of the org. You know what I mean? But man, he was sitting down talking, right? And I'm not trying to sway him one way or I just keep it real. I just keep it real. If he asked me, you know what I'm saying, would I come back if I had the opportunity? I said no. If he asked me, you know what I'm saying, and he asked me that, and he asked me, he's like, do you think people should join the gang? I said no. He'd ask me all of these different types of questions, and it's no, 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 no. I am not promoting it. I'm not going to advocate for it. It is not what you want. It's not what you think. You feel what I'm saying? But I had this story in my hip pocket for him, right? And I'm going to share that story with y'all. I'm going to tell y'all about this story, right? And this was way back. You know what I'm saying? And in the beginning. This is before I got put in the rack. The time that I told you that I realized, you know what I'm saying, that these people don't love me. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you this story about when I realized that I needed to be the wolf. I needed to be the big bad wolf, the one that everybody feared, right? And this is what happened. Let me tell you, right? And one of the rules that the Gangster Disciples has, you know what I'm saying, is you got to have good sportsmanship when you play basketball, any kind of sports or whatever the case may be. And I could play ball. I was pretty good, you know what I'm saying? And I talked a lot of crap, you know what I'm saying, on the court, right? I'm talking crazy to you, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing like Jordan doing. You can't check me. Ain't nothing you can do. I'm taking it to you. You know what I'm saying? And I might call you a boy. I might say something else a little bit more derogatory, you know what I'm saying, to you, whatever the case may be. But it was all in fun. It was all in sportsmanship and all this and that. But the guys, they used to get at me and tell me, no, that's bad sportsmanship. You don't need to be doing that, right? So now I've been like, man, they ain't tripping about it. Why y'all tripping about it? You know what I'm saying? And that ain't what they were looking at. They didn't see it like that. What they saw was a young person that they needed to break, that they needed to mold in their image. You feel what I'm saying? They saw the fire that I had, but it was too hot, and they wanted to damp it down a little bit, right? So every now and then, here they come with it. And this is before I was the 9. I ain't had no position, no nothing. You feel what I'm saying? And that was early on. You feel what I'm saying? Now, because I once I got it pretty quick, you know what I'm saying, I moved up. But before that, these folks would just take me in the broom closet. And there was this one folks, right, that was huge. This man, I'm telling you, his forearms were like Popeye. You feel what I'm saying? Popeye the Sailor Man, the cartoon used to come on back in the day. I know some of y'all young ones listen to the show don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm telling you, there was this cartoon called Popeye the Sailor Man. And he eats spinach, and when he eats spinach, you know what I'm saying, he go knock out Brutus and blah, 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 all that old kind of stuff, right? But anyway, his forearms look like somebody's bicep. And he had that one-hitter quitter, right? And there was always this brother, every time they send me into the broom closet, he would be the one to go in there with me. Ain't nothing I can do it. I weighed about 167 pounds, and I'm jacking 1,000. I'm telling you now, I got these hands, but it was no room in that little space, and they did that on purpose because it gives a bigger person the advantage. All he got to do is cut your space off, you know what I'm saying, and then walk you down and weigh you down. And he outweighed me probably about almost 80 or 100 pounds. You feel me? And he could take a lick because I'm popping him right in the dome, and it ain't dropping him. Anybody else would have been dropped, you know what I'm saying? And I'd have kicked him on up out of there, right? But every time I'm hitting him, he's steady more walking into me. And I can't really get a full swing in because this broom closet is so small. You feel what I'm saying? This is what happened. Man, this man hit me in my face over and over and over because I slipped and fell, right? This particular time that I'm talking about. I'm not knocked out, but I can't get up. You feel me? And imagine that you laying down, you on your back, and you got somebody that's straddling you on the top of you that outweigh you by almost 100 pounds, and he got muscles, and he know how to fight just as good as you, and he hitting harder than you. He hit me in my face just for fun. And he hit me, he's like, you gonna learn the GD way. You gonna learn the GD way. And I'm talking about he popping me in my face, and I'm like, stop, man, stop. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying not to cry, but I can't help it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown man. I'm getting beat down. And then it was like, I'm semi-conscious and semi-unconscious, right? Then he gets up. And he just get up, he pick me up and throw me over his shoulder and come up out of there, right? And I could see them, they all standing around. It's funny, they laughing. And I got blood all over me, you know what I'm saying? And blood coming out of my nose. And I used to have bad nosebleeds when I was a kid, right? So that didn't do me no good. My nose would be running. Then I had blood coming out of my ears and all this old kind of stuff. And just blood all over me, right? Police ain't doing nothing. They watching you. You know what I'm saying? They know you end up getting beat up. They cool with it because half of them don't like you anyway. They didn't like me like that. You know what I mean? So I get up out of there. He lay me on my bunk. Take me to the cell, lay me on my bunk. And then I wake up later on that. This time, my cellie, he was a peon. You feel me? So he laying in the bunk. I'm on the bottom of he on the top bunk. He laying in the bunk. He checking on me every now and then, right? Making sure I ain't dead, you know. I don't know if it's because he cared or because he didn't want to go to the hole, you know what I mean? But either way it go, he taking care of me, right? So when I finally do get up, I'm dizzy. I can't see straight. And I got in the sink and I was washing my face. And while I was washing my face, you know, my nose is full of blood, right? And I can't really breathe. And the more I'm washing my face, you know, and I touch my nose, it's hurting. So I'm blowing my nose, getting that blood out and the snot and all that out of my nose, right? And while I'm doing that, I got my hands over my face. My cellie laying on the top bunk. He's not asleep, I know that, but he's turned toward the wall, right? But anyway, I'm blowing my nose, right? And I got my hand on my face and I'm washing my face and I started to cry. And I said, man, what have I gotten myself into? I said, man, if I don't do something, they gonna kill me. Period, point blank. I can't take too many more of these. This is about the second or third time they done beat me like this, right? And I'm saying to myself, I can't take too many more of these. And I'm not going to let somebody beat on me like that. You feel what I'm saying? So that's when that moment right there, it's that moment right there that I became that beast. I said, man, I'm finna kill one of these dudes. I'm not finna play with them no more. I don't care who it is. Ain't nobody gonna put their hands on me no more, right? So it was this young dude. It was a young Mexican dude. He cool in the fan, man. He used to play ball together. He really couldn't do nothing with me, right? I was hard on him on the floor too, but he was cool like it. You know what I'm saying? He was hard on me in dominoes and stuff like that. I'm hard on him on the basketball court. We got along. And he pulled me to the side one day. He was telling me, because it ain't no getting your butt whooped around there and nobody hear about it in the penitentiary. That's just not how it works, right? So he pulled up on me one day and he told me, he said, look, hey, Baker, look, hey, man, I need to holler at you. I said, what's up? He said, man, I know you part of the organization, woo this, and that, and all that old kind of stuff, and y'all got your own butchers and all this and that. He said, but you need a personal. I said, I need a personal. He said, you need your personal butcher, man. I said, man, I ain't trying to be messing with these dudes, man. They find out I got one of them, it's going to be a problem because they keep up with everything. You know, all the butchers is put away. You know, they know everything and everybody's, what everybody's got. Put it that way, right? He said, nah. He said, man, you need to hold your own, man. You need to hold your own. They do. You know what I'm saying? He let me know. He makes them for them too, right? I said, man, what you going to charge me? He told me, you know what I'm saying, a little like 30. So I give him the little $30, right? And he give me this nice butcher. Nice butcher. It was about 6 inches long. I'm talking about it was nice, man. Nice and sharp. I'm telling you, I could cut my food with it. Cut summer sausages with this thing. You know what I'm saying? Slice my cheese with it. You know, doing some real Rambo's type stuff with that thing. You feel me? And then, let's keep in mind now, I was in the Marine Corps and all this and that, right? And I did know hand-to-hand combat and all that old kind of stuff. And I still do. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, look, man, let me see if you know how to hold a knife. And he was showing me how to hold it when you fight somebody with a knife. It is different. You ain't holding it like you're going to be swinging down. You feel what I'm saying? You got to hold that thing straight in your hand and you popping that thing out. You feel what I'm saying? As you lunging towards him, right? You got to be careful, right? So he's showing me this, man, and I noticed what he was doing, right? Because he was a little dude and he was cool, but then nobody messed with him. But he told me, didn't nobody mess with him because they knew that he knew in his mind, and they knew that he said if they ever put their hands on him, he going to take one of them out. And he said, if they don't see that in your eyes, man, he said, you're going to keep going through what you're going through. He said, they're going to have to see that beast. You're going to have to become that wolf. And over time, I did. So the next time, don't get me wrong now, I'm going to keep it real. You can't buck that blue wave. Just can't do it. You can say whatever you want to say, this, and the third, or whatever the case may be, right? But you can't buck that blue wave. They coming. But what I start letting them know is that, man, you're going to keep putting your hands on me, man. You going to put me in the rack, then you're going to do it the right way. You're not finna get me in there, have me down like that and then beat me in my face and think that I ain't finna do nothing about it. Because you do it again, I'm going to do something to you. And when I started talking to them like that, I started noticing that they started easing up. They started easing up on me. And then I started to realize, I said, wait a minute. That's what it takes. You got to become that beast. And that's how the mindset, that's the mindset you have to have in that lifestyle. And when I was telling him this, I made sure not to leave out the most important part, because a lot of people think the most important part about that story is that I realized that I was dealing with animals and I had to be one to survive it, right? No, that's not the most important part. The most important part about that story was this lifestyle will change you into something that you won't even recognize, that your family won't even recognize. For years, I had that reputation of, oh man, Joe a disciplinarian, man. You mess up around him, he gonna put that thing on you. You going in that rack, he gonna beat you up, or he gonna have somebody beat you up. It was that on that. But that came from what I went through. And that's what I wanted him to understand. You keep letting these things happen to you. You just getting started. Over time, they're going to turn you into a person that your mama's not going to recognize, your family's not going to recognize. You're going to be an animal. You're going to be an animal. And he's sitting there looking at me. And I knew it. I knew that look he was giving me. You know, when you're looking at and you're talking to a young person, 'cause I think he's like 21, 22 years old, but he seemed younger than that. And I don't know if that's because he used weed or get high, whatever the case may be, but he seemed younger than that. But he had no real life experiences. He'd never traveled outside of the place that he lived. He had never been anywhere and done anything. He was just a gangster disciple, and he thought he was the shit. But when I was looking at him, I seen his eyes get watery. So when I do that, when I'm talking to somebody in here and their eyes get watery, I turn and look away, give them a chance to straighten themselves up. So I turn and look away, and by the time I look back, he's gotten himself together. But I'm looking at him, I'm letting him know, look here, what you signed up for, you don't even have any idea what you signed up for. But you're going to find out. And I said, you're young and you're brand new. And now you signed this lifelong contract for the next 20 years at least. That's how that thing works. If they let you go then. And it's going to be a tight fight with a short pipe. But he was listening to me. He was listening to me. And that is one of those moments that you have when you realize that, wait a minute. And when I'm talking about that moment, I'm talking about when I was in that sink and I was blowing my nose. I'm like, these folks finna kill me. If I keep letting these folks beat on me like that, they gonna kill me. So I decided I'm not gonna let nobody put their hands on me. Period. And I've been like that ever since I've been in the penitentiary. You're not gonna put your hands on me. Since then, no, not gonna put your hands on me. Not in that way, to try to hurt me. I'll take mine just like anybody else will take theirs, but you ain't finna go overboard and think you can just get up and hug me and put a G in my back and everything straight. No. Didn't work that way with me. But a lot of people are too afraid to assert themselves in that lifestyle. They feel like they just got accepted. And that's what it is. But like I told him, when we finished talking, he was like, man, I appreciate you telling me that, Ryan. And I said, I said, when they going to beat you down? He said, they're going to wait till the weekend. I said, I feel you, man. I wish you the best. You know what I'm saying? This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.